last time I saw Shaylyn was in her bed, and I leaned down, and I said, "Daddy loves you," and gave her a kiss and hug good night.
Another shocking turn in the case of baby Shaylyn, as investigators have confirmed that her death was no accident, but rather a case of homicide. And that latest development in a case that has already got people all across the country experiencing a range of emotions from heartbreak to anger.
Yeah, outrage. The coroner confirming today Shaylyn died of asphyxiation. Tonight, our full team of reporters continues to dig for new details in Owen County. RTV6's Todd Connor anchoring our coverage tonight live outside of the Spencer Police Department. Todd.
Yeah, and we were outside that department right here on the main drag in Spencer. There are numerous law enforcement agencies right now trying to figure out the circumstances behind little Shaylyn Ammerman's death, including who killed her. As you said, the coroner ruling earlier today that Shaylyn died of asphyxiation, declaring it a homicide. Indiana State Police, of course, finding little Shaylyn's body yesterday evening near the White River in Gosport. That is several miles northeast of Spencer. Ammerman, as you know, had been missing for more than a day. 22-year-old Kyle Parker, of course, locked up at the Owen County Jail at this hour, facing 2 preliminary charges of obstruction of justice and 2 more for not reporting a body. But one charge he isn't facing at the moment is murder. We want to go now to RTV6's Mike Pelton. He is outside the family's home here in Spencer. He talked to Shaylyn's father and uncle earlier today. Mike.
Well, Todd, they have a lot of questions, but few answers after Shaylyn's body was found about 7 miles away from her father's home, which again sits behind crime scene tape tonight. Today, I spoke with Justin Ammerman, that's Shaylyn's dad, who was coming to grips with the death of his daughter. He replayed the final moments of Tuesday night, the hours before he says Shaylyn vanished from her crib. He tells me he went to bed, and his brother Adam says his stepdad, he and his acquaintance, Kyle Parker, who was under arrest, stayed up drinking alcohol and watching TV. Adam tells me he fell asleep and woke up when Kyle left in the middle of the night. He did not see him leave with baby Shaylyn, but the brothers feel Kyle Parker is responsible for Shaylyn's disappearance, and they have this to say to him tonight.
I want to know why this man come in my house and took my daughter and did what he did with her. I really want to know. The last time I saw Shaylyn was in her bed, and I leaned down, and I said, "Daddy loves you," and gave her a kiss and hug good night.
I want to remember her as a lovable, bouncy baby girl that laughed, giggled, and played everywhere.
And Justin Ammerman tells us he did undergo a polygraph test but denies any involvement in Shaylyn's death or disappearance. Now today, a small but growing memorial of teddy bears sits outside the father's home while questions linger about exactly what happened inside that house. Meanwhile, tonight we are learning of a vigil planned for baby Shaylyn that is set to take place tonight at 7 o'clock over at Cooper Park. For now, we're live in Spencer. Mike Pelton, RTV6.
Mike, thank you. And tonight we are, of course, digging deeper into this investigation, exactly finding out more details about the man arrested in connection with the disappearance and the killing of little Shaylyn. Call 6 Investigates reporter Paris Lubell joining us now, and you've been following this, looking into his background. What did you find?
His background in the entire investigation. Now, the crime scene that they're looking over right now is about 10 miles from here near the White River and where the Indian Creek meet. Again, just about 10 miles from here, and according to police, the body was found there in Gosport, and sources say it's a very difficult area to access where the baby or where the infant was found, and it's far from any road access. Now, the closest access road is across the creek along a pair of railroad tracks. Sources saying that crime scene is very large, and they had to use ATVs to actually get down there and do the full investigation. Right now, detectives are down there combing and looking through evidence, seeing if they can find anything that may have been dropped or something that may be able to show who was down there when the body was left near the river. Now, police have only charged one person in connection to this case. That's 22-year-old Kyle Parker. He's charged with obstruction of justice, failure to report a dead body, and unlawful disposition of a dead body. Now, those charges are preliminary, and so far he has not been charged with murder. Parker does have some run-ins with the law, according to history that we were able to find. Now, they're mostly drugs and alcohol violations. He has never been charged with a violent crime. Todd, we talked to a few members of his family today. They're saying they are really shocked by this, saying it's just not in his personality to to do something like this.
We heard your phone ringing too, no doubt one of your sources getting back to you on this investigation. What is next in this investigation as far as you know?
Right now, police still have a lot of questions, much like we do, but they're doing more interviews today with other persons of interest. So we're not sure exactly who they were, possibly people that were with Kyle that night. Maybe somebody else threw a piece of evidence they found down at the river. There's a lot to go through at the river as well, and they say it will just take some time, possibly even into tomorrow. So as soon as they have more evidence, they may be able to charge somebody with the actual murder yet. But still, the big question is who actually committed the murder in the first place.
Yeah, and we know the father underwent a polygraph. There have been rumors about the results of that, which we're not reporting, but any chances we could ever find out the results of that?
Eventually, we'll see that in court. We do know Kyle Parker did undergo a polygraph in Indianapolis yesterday, and then after that, the arrest coming and then the body being found. So we don't know if it was something he possibly said in that polygraph test or if he said something in the interview, but likely all that would come out in court. I know we'll have a lot more from police coming up, possibly in the next 24 hours, we're being told, but it's just kind of a wait-and-see game right now.
Yeah, and speaking of the father, Shaylyn Ammerman said to our Mike Pelton earlier today he has a lot of questions for Kyle Parker. He wants to know what happened to his little girl, and a lot of people here in Spencer are outraged at what happened. Their questions: how could someone kill a little 14-month-old girl and just leave her out in the woods? You are sending us questions, and you have your responses coming to our Twitter and Facebook pages. In fact, Betty Hunt writes, "This is so tragic. It saddens me beyond words just to think what little Shaylyn had to endure before her untimely death. Rest in peace, baby Shaylyn." And also from Marilyn Baker, she says, "I just don't understand what is wrong with people who hurt any child. Prayers for this little angel." Of course, a lot of people venting their anger, saying what they would do for the person responsible for the death of little Shaylyn. Of course, at this hour, we still do not know who killed her. Police have one man in custody, 22-year-old Kyle Parker, but there is more to come, according to police. That is the latest from Spencer right now. Erica, back to you.
All right, Todd, just simply heartbreaking. Thank you so much for your coverage. Turning now to storm